Is Jack Nicklaus hitting out of a very blind.
Oh, welcome back to the Teed Up Golf Podcast. Massive week this week. We've got a boy back in town, Jack Raz. How are you?
Mate, doing well. Always a pleasure to be here with you boys.
Now, Brad and I thought we'd have a powwow to see if you'd come back, but after listening, you were incredible last week. So, by popular demand from the listeners and from Brad and I, welcome back to the studio.
I'm blushing.
Now, you didn't get enough kudos last week, did you, Gil?
No, apparently not.
Your intro of him was horrendous. Very good golfer.
It was flattering.
Plays off plus handicap, won a couple of Ivos, done all that. So,
Yeah, Planet Player of the Year.
We're at PK.
Yeah, PK.
What, mate? I said intro your mate Jack, and you're like, yeah, he works at Cobra Puma.
I said he's one of the big dogs.
He is one of the big dogs, but mate, he's blushing now. But yeah, thanks for coming back,
Yeah.
Jack. Unbelievable.
Thanks,
And
Adam.
of course, we've got the bloke who wears the worst kit in Melbourne back in the pod. Oh my!
Look at his shoulders. How do you get hair on the top of your shoulder?
What shoulders?
15-0 Cavs.
Grim.
15-0 Cavs.
I can't believe I have to sit adjacent to this.
This is the post-LeBron era. It's the McGill era. Unbelievable.
Shocking.
Anyway, enough about my fucking hairy arms. Let's
I've
get
been
back
eating
to
all day, and I think I got food poisoning from watching that. But anyway, Bradley McGill, the great man, is back in the podcast, and we have a big week this week. Obviously, this episode is brought to you by our good friends at Golfbox. Head over to golfbox.com.au, Australia's largest golfing retailer. Incredible. They got the Black Friday sale on right now, so jump over there, treat yourself for the summer. Now, we played in a golf day yesterday out at Peninsula Kingswood, which was a bit of a shit show due to the weather, but big shout out to the Speak Share charity, which is a mental health charity based out that side of town, out Frankston Way, and PK. What's the PK?
Community Foundation. They look after the surrounding suburbs who are a bit of a lower socioeconomic, some obviously financial struggles. So they get behind the community, some schools.
Yeah,
they do a lot. So
yeah,
shout out to the boys as well. They're great young fellas that run Speak Share, and for an awesome cause. So.
Yeah, we might have to touch base with them and maybe team up with them at some point to do a bit of a
100%.
charity thing for them next year. But yeah, tough day. Pissed rain, as everyone in Melbourne and across the country would have seen how bad it was through that little belt for about an hour. Absolutely smashed PK.
Dropped like 10 degrees as well. It was so cold. I had shorts on and a t-shirt. I had a shirt.
It was so cold. I drove up from Geelong and I just progressively saw the weather following me, like filling up my car. There was an old lady walking backwards into the petrol station to pay for a petrol because it was that windy. I was absolutely crazy, but came good. And we had a great day out on golf course. I played with SD Workshop, Will and Rory Lobb, and you had a hit with a couple of the big swingers.
Yeah, Sam Payne, John O'Brown, and a fella named Jeff from the States. So we had a good day.
I got starstruck with your group.
You did.
I saw Sam Pang. He was
Couple
group
of
in front
stutters.
of us. We were hitting bombs on your day, and yeah,
I didn't see any of your drives get within.
No, well, not
100
me.
of
No,
that
the
car.
boys were hitting bombs all day.
Oh, yeah.
You guys were slow. But anyway, incredible. I got to shake Sam Pang's hand, which was incredible.
I just want to shout out to him. He's a cracking fella. He's one of the better blokes I've met.
He's so funny, man.
Yeah, just naturally funny. Has a time for everyone. I gained respect for him yesterday.
He introduced himself
it's
to
a
me.
massive ball. Like just unloads on it. It's surprising for a guy. He's not a big fella. He just unleashes.
Apparently he played pretty good level of footy and all that sort of stuff, so he's got a bit of athleticism in him.
Brownie introduced him to Jeff, our fourth player, as a Collingwood reserves player or something like that. So I think there's some sort of a history there. But
Yeah, Brownie did have a very, very good day. But so did a great mate of the podcast, and Lucas Herbert up there at Murray Downs. We'll move in now to what's happening this week on the podcast. We're going to go through a New South Wales Open recap. We're being joined by the newest cult figure in Australian golf, Corey Lamb. Herbie wins his first time on Aussie soil. Rory McIlroy makes it 6 on the DP World Tour. That was incredible last night watching over there. Nelly Corder makes it 7 for the year. Gets another win at the Annika. She's just had a year out of the box, and it's probably an all-time great year on the LPGA Tour. And we are going to list our top 3 value golf courses here in Victoria, and of course preview the first Aussie major for the year at the PGA, which is being played at the Royal Queensland Golf Club. New South Wales Open was incredible. Lucas Herbert gets his first win on Aussie soil. Boys, what a weekend for Aussie golf again. The big dogs came to town to play one of the state opens, and one of them got it done.
It was a great week. I was lucky enough to watch the final round, Q, and it was funny how it flipped. Like, Cam was the man to watch for most of that front nine. We thought he was, going to run away with it, and then all of a sudden got around the turn, a few things happened, and, all of a sudden Herbie was the man, and Cam's putter was just very, very cold, the coldest I've ever seen it, watching him play. Like, you're so used to him holding so many putts, for him to miss so many, and then obviously mix it up with a little bit of average ball striking. It just wasn't not his day at all, but, incredible win for Lucas. Great to see him get a win so close to home, and then obviously the sort of feel-good stories of Alex Simpson and Corey Lamb, sort of, great weeks for them. But the way that these golfers, like I've played Murray Downs a fair few times in that New South Wales Open qualifier, the way that these guys just tear these courses apart with their length is just ridiculous. Like that par 4, the 14th hole, I don't know if it was playing downwind or, they couldn't push a tee back any further, but like for them, like that's supposed to be a medium length par 4 and they're hitting on the front edge of the green and, putting. Like it's just crazy the way they hit it, but Murray Downs was in incredible condition. And, the coverage was fairly good. They had the drone footage of, 2 holes about 900 times. But other than that, when they're actually showing some scoring and some playing and the on-course commentary, I thought was great. That's sort of my main takeaways, guys. What do you guys got?
You talked about the cold putter for Cam on Sunday. I got the chance to watch it on Saturday for a fair bit of time there, and I watched the back nine, and Herbie had apparently changed putter overnight, so he was using a new putter for Saturday, and he was battling it out with that, and he had a 3-putt from I think 3 feet on 16, and I sort of thought, geez, he might be a bit cooked here, but just the stones to come back on Sunday, set and forget, just came out on Sunday and just rolled the rock and forgot about the day before, and obviously took home the chockies, but what a performance.
That's Herbie's greatest strength, I think, in his golf, is being able to reset. Like, you look at Live Adelaide, where he was pretty bad on the first day, and then he just came out and went nuts. I think he shot like 7 or 8 under around the Grange to, I guess, get the Rippers back into contention, get himself into contention. Like, he just gets so hot and street. He's been like that his whole career, even when he was playing PGA Tour and winning on the DP World Tour. He just puts rounds together like that, where he's just so solid, and he plays really carefree golf. We all tipped him last week, which was unbelievable. But those sort of country courses really suit his game, like lots of room. Can be a little bit wayward from time to time off the tee, but get him out there, and once he gets his head in that zone, he's very hard to stop shooting a final round. 67. The other boys who were sort of chasing him down didn't have the best days. Like, we're going to talk to Corey Lamb in a minute about his tournament. He shot a 66, 67, 67, 72. Alex Simpson with a 70, and then Cam Smith shot a 74. So no one sort of gained on him, but I want to have a look at the bottom half of the top 10 with young guys who are really coming through. And, you tipped Harrison Crowe to be a bolter, who finished in a tie for 7th. Jack Buchanan continues incredible. He's dominating the Aussie Tour this season. We love Butch. Hopefully get him in the studio in a couple of weeks for a chat as well, which will be awesome. But he shot a final round 69, 66 on Saturday. He just closes and just gets it done. He's in super form. And I want to chat about a bloke who, we told his story on the podcast last year, and he's had, relatively really tough last sort of 8 years of his life in Ryan Peake. He finished in his best finish on the Aussie Tour, which is a tie for 7th. Done it the hard way as well. Had to go to Q School a couple of times. Hates Moona Links. He really struggled around there. Got his card, but yeah, tie for 7th for Peaky, and big shout out to the great man. Big fan of what Peaky gets up to, and working really bloody hard on his golf game. So hopefully those rewards come for him. Great lead in to the Aussie majors, and the big dogs playing these state opens just make them so much more palatable and just bring more eyes onto it. These young guys like Corey's probably a household name this week leading into the Aussie PGA.
Yeah, I think just a big shout out to those boys for obviously coming back out. People talk about, they get paid to come back, this and that. Firstly, for this event, they don't. They're doing it for the good of Australian golf, and other guys from those big tours. You hear Rory talk about Oz Open should be the 5th major, but hasn't been back in 10 years. Some of the other guys don't come back, so for them to come back, play in the New South Wales Open, to play in the PGA, to play in the Oz Open, giving the young guys experiences that they otherwise might not get access to until later on in their career. You're accelerating their growth, and they're just doing awesome things for the sport here.
We'll talk to Lammy in a sec about the experience it was with Cam and just how that would have been with the crowds. And he's probably aged 5 years in his golf career in 18 holes of golf, just from what he's learnt. Maybe 100%. Watching him, hearing what Cam and his caddy are talking about, all that sort of stuff must have been unreal for him.
And I think the big thing for me, I'm a massive Cam Smith fan. I also like Herbie. But it would be very easy for them to just throw that bullshit excuse out that, I'm joining Live because I want to come back to Australia and spend some more time there and, play a few events. Like, they could easily just throw that out and then not back it up. But for them to actually back it up, for Cam to play at Nudgee in the Queensland PGA and then head across and play at Murray Downs, like, it's not an easy place to get to. You've got to fly into Melbourne, drive a fair few hours. There's not much, no offence to Swan Hill, but there's not a whole heap going on up there.
There's there.
There is. There is Macca's there. But yeah, for them to actually back their word up and get out there and play, like, it's just sensational for Australian golf, and hats off to them, and they're only going to help the PGA Tour of Australasia grow, because as I said, guys like Corey Lamb, more people know about him now because they've tuned in to watch Cameron Smith, who's this fella who's like extremely good looking like me, out there sort of, swinging away and, having a real red hot crack, and all of a sudden, people want to watch Corey Lamb. Like, it's amazing what they're doing. They should be super proud.
Yeah, well, if people want to hear a bit more about why Herbie did join Liv, I had him on the pod in February just after he signed with Liv, and one of the key things I took away was he wants to, he just thought it was the best opportunity for him to go back and play the best level of golf against the best possible players he can. He lost his status, he was good status on the PGA Tour, so why not go and play Liv? He's playing against, Rahm, DeChambeau, Smith, all these guys week in, week out, Koepka, like, the list goes on, and it's enabled him to now go and win again in world golf, which he's won nearly all around the world now. Like, he's won in the US, he's won in Europe, he's won in Dubai, he's won in Asia, he's done everything. Herbie, he's won in Japan last year, so putting his money where his mouth is, you can really just gauge a guy like that. Like, no offense to Jay Day, like, you hear about what he likes to do, is he's a US guy now. He's coming back to play the PGA this year. Like, motives are probably very different to what these guys are. So, big shout out to the guys from Ripper GC who have, made a huge impact on Aussie golf, especially the last 2 years since Liv's been in existence.
I think looking at them in the same vein as like a Jeff Ogilvy now, where, like, someone's just got to do it. Someone's got to bring light on the fact that Australian golf's kind of been overlooked for a little while now, and obviously Jeff's done a lot for the sport locally. He's he put a lot of his time into it, and then to see these boys come back and play as well, it's just fantastic. I think we're heading in the right direction, and hopefully we get these big events back to a point where they are looking like a fifth major.
Absolutely. Get out there this week if you're watching them up in the Queensland, and then come to make sure if you're down here in Melbourne, just having a look around Kingston Heath and Victoria. If you have never been there, make it a priority to at least get out for a couple of hours on one of the days. Nice and cheap tickets through Golf Australia website. I think you can get them through Ticket Tech, so get out there. If you see us boys around, make sure you come and say g'day. Be swanning around doing sweet FA as always, so that'll be nice and fun. Brad will be carrying the bag for Chris Crabtree, so a few heckles over the rope.
Absolutely, I'll be there.
We're being joined by Corey Lamb, who had an incredible week, the best week of his professional golf career, and we'll get over to the great man, Corey Lamb, right now. We're lucky enough to be joined by Corey Lamb, a.k.a. Chops, a.k.a. the Branxton Bomber. Off an amazing week up there at the New South Wales Open at Murray Downs. Great man, welcome to the Tee It Up pod.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Did I pronounce all that correctly? Branxton Bomber?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Mate, I've been inundated with messages by loyal listeners and people who just love the pod to get you on since last year at Wollonga when you went really well, and then again the last few weeks, but more importantly yesterday and across the weekend when you dazzled the crowds up there at Murray Downs playing in the final group with Cam Smith. You're only 23 and geez, you played some good golf. How are you feeling 24 hours on from probably the biggest round of golf you've ever played?
Yeah, I still haven't had time to let it sink in yet. I sort of finished my round yesterday, drove 3.5 hours to Melbourne, and then was a 4 a.m. wake up this morning to get on the flight to Brisbane, so I haven't really had time to think about it. I've been pretty tired today, but went out to rural Queensland, hit a few balls, try and get ready for this week, and sort of just had a chill arvo, and I'll go play 18 tomorrow. But yeah, haven't had too much to think about it, so I'm sure once I settle down after these big few weeks, I'll have some time to think about it.
It's pretty cool, mate. You've captured the hearts of a lot of the Aussie golfing public who watched across the weekend. You're pretty easy going out on course. Obviously, a unique look. You look very much like our great man in here, Brad McGill. We get into that. Do you get told that?
I have heard a few people say that, yeah.
Do you reckon you're better looking, or he's sitting here right now wearing a Cavs jersey, and he looks fucking horrendous. Oh, but you do a much better job than he does, mate. So
each in their own, mate.
We love
Exactly right.
the New Balance kicks. Do it for me. He has them as well.
Yeah,
The
show
cricket-
some
the
respect.
cricket
Show some
shoes.
respect.
But
They're so
Very
comfy,
diplomatic
you have
answer.
to
I reckon
wear
he's
'em.
saying it's better looking than you.
Yeah.
Comfy.
Game,
Okay.
yeah, game respects game, mate. Don't you worry about
Yeah.
We need a round of golf with you two together.
Yeah,
That'd be
actually,
sensational.
but
Kick
match for
my
the
ass.
ages.
Absolutely
Brad's a
kick my
pro
ass.
off 3, so I'm pretty sure
I'm not off
you would
3.
have him done cold lane. But mate, the figure status that you've sort of accrued over the last couple of weeks, how's that sitting with you? Obviously, you know, it's pretty cool. Like, you've sort of burst onto the scene. You've come through the hard way through Q School to get your card this year. How's that sitting with you? I guess it's only been there for 24 hours, but must be pretty cool to see that people love watching you play, because like, you do swing it like John Daly, as Brad said earlier, and you've got a pretty unique way of going about it. So how's that sitting with you, and how have you got people around you to help you handle that for the next few weeks with the Aussie Open and Oz PGA?
Yeah, for sure. I've sort of always sort of did it the hard way coming through. Like, everything that I've sort of done, I haven't really got picked in many of the things that I would like to be picked in when I was an amateur. But I mean, doing it the hard way isn't a bad thing. It sort of builds you up to be better for these sort of situations. And I've worked really hard to be where I am. So it's good to see that it's all coming together now. And my parents and my girlfriend are always so supportive. So it makes it pretty easy to be how I am with all the support that I get.
That's cool, mate. That's unreal. Family is really important these times. Final round with Cam yesterday, obviously incredible. The boys will have a chat to you about that in a sec, but how was it? He's a pretty laid-back unit, so it would have been nice and, you know, comforting to play with a guy who's so relaxed out there as well.
Yeah, for sure. I hit off the first and tried to have a bit of a chat to him just to sort of break the ice sort of thing. But yeah, I think he was pretty serious up until I think he 3-putted 16, and I think he sort of realised then that it wasn't his day, so he sort of chilled out a little bit then, and we had a good chat going to the 17th tee, and yeah, it was crazy playing with Cam, obviously, but no, it was such a good day.
What do you take away, Corey, from that day? Like, obviously the big crowds playing with Cam. Is there anything? I know you sort of haven't had a whole heap of time to think about it, but is there anything you sort of take away that's giving you confidence going into the next few weeks? You know, just with your game, and you know that you can handle that pressure.
Yeah, I felt like I said to my caddy on 16 yesterday. I said, "Mate, are we actually this close to the lead? Like, I feel like I played terrible today." But he said, yeah, like, you've hung in there well, playing solid. You're just doing what you got to do. So it was pretty crazy to think that I was only a couple back with 2 holes to go. So that was a huge thing. And, yeah, just I didn't really feel uncomfortable out there, which was the main thing. I sort of felt like I was meant to be there. So, I mean, going forward, it'll definitely help me out playing with Cam yesterday in the big crowds and not feeling too out of place.
Mate, how are the nerves in the morning? Obviously a massive day playing final group against probably the best golfer that's come out of Australia in the last 10, 15 years. So how'd you handle yourself in the morning? Obviously, it's a pretty daunting task going up against him.
Yeah, I sort of woke up, sort of went out for breakfast, just chilled at the cafe for a while, and got to the course, and there was actually a storm that come through, so there was a bit of a delay, which that sort of took my mind off things, just being the delay and sort of thinking about that instead of the round, I guess, and what I needed to do. So when I was told what time I was off, I sort of reset, and I actually didn't get too nervous, I think, just because it sort of changed how I was thinking in a way. But no, it was pretty good, yeah.
Heading into these next 2 weeks, mate, really important. You're second on the order of merit now, so you're setting yourself up for who knows what it can be, a DP World Tour card or whatever it brings for you next year. How are you setting up going into the majors? Obviously, it's probably changed the goalpost a little bit with where you're sitting. Yeah, what are your expectations going into the 2 Aussie majors?
Yeah, I definitely didn't think I'd be in a situation like this, so I'm really looking forward to these next 2 events. I think they're a great opportunity to make some more good points and get higher up on that order of merit, and then just play everything I can, and we'll see. Not too sure how it will end up, but I mean, yeah, I'll try and do my best, and top 3 would be great. But I mean, I'm pretty happy with how I've started, so yeah, we'll go from there.
Corey, just a quick one. The 16th hole, you sent an absolute missile down there and outdrove the other boys by about 50 metres or something. Was there anything said? Like, did you tell the boys to go to the gym for a little bit longer to keep up with you, or anything said like that, or did you keep it pretty quiet?
No, I didn't really want to say anything. Alex I think he hit 3 wood off there, so that was fair enough. But I don't know, Cam hit driver, so he should have been a bit further up.
Yeah, that was huge. Like, how far did that drive actually go?
I think it went like 360 metres or
holy
something.
far out. That's ridiculous. That's
How
crazy.
far did you hit it, Miguel?
Probably like
did
probably
two to get
280
there.
on
You did two to get there.
280 on the fly. But if there's a bit of wind, I mean, we're built.
It was pretty windy, not gonna lie.
Yeah, we're built for distance. The others have speed, but we're just pure distance. Me and Corey.
Yeah, that's it.
Exactly.
You've obviously been a pro for only a couple of years, and obviously a massive weekend just gone for you in your personal development. What do you think you've had to improve the most to get to where you are right now? Because obviously you're looking pretty good. You're sitting third, I think, on the order of merit, going into 2 of the biggest events of the season. What do you think you've improved the most to get to where you are now?
Just mentally, I think just knowing how to react to certain situations and sort of not getting too caught up on how I'm playing and what the score is, sort of just keep pushing, trying to make birdies. And I mean, I've been bouncing back really well as well, so that definitely helps. Just a birdie after a bogey is very important, I think, and just knowing when to attack as well on the golf course. Like, there's certain times that I would usually attack that I'm sort of not anymore, and sort of just being patient as well, and just make sure I know when to take my chances and when to sort of just try and make a par and get out of it.
Well done, mate. Unbelievable. It's been incredible to watch you over the last few weeks. In particular, Wollongus tied second again on the weekend. Heading into the Aussie Majors, the cameras will be on you. We can't wait to see you down here in Melbourne next week. And go well this week. And thanks so much for giving us some time on the Teed Up Pod.
Perfect. Thanks, boys. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Corey.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Corey.
Sweet.
Corey Lam's a superstar.
He's an absolute superstar.
Do you reckon you look like him or not?
Yes.
Who's better looking?
Like, I'm not gonna knock. He's on a high, so me.
You love these kids. 23 years old. He speaks like he's a seasoned veteran.
Mate, does he ever? Yeah, he's a superstar, as you said.
Boys, let's have a look at the DP World Tour now, where Rory McIlroy makes it 6. Unbelievable. He was so solid down the stretch playing with Rasmus Højgaard. I got the back end of it, getting back from PK quite late. Rory hit a really solid shot on the 17th hole, I believe, to sort of put it beyond doubt. Rasmus lipped out on 18 to make Rory really sweat on his final putt, but Rory jammed it in the middle of the hole to make it 6. He was quite emotional. He said he'd had a really tough year personally, professionally, everything. So to go and win, the 6th time on the DP World Tour Championship was really, really impressive. And he's such a good player. Obviously the majors aren't going his way, but I think he's back to the Rory of old and found himself again, which was really cool.
Yeah, it was a great finish to the event. I thought maybe Rasmus was going to pip him again like the Irish Open, but especially when Rory made that sloppy par 5 on the 14th.
Yeah.
Obviously had 9 into that green and didn't get up and down, and the putter just was looking cold like it always sort of does with him at the moment. But for him to stump it on 16 to a literally a tap in, walk up, tap it in, take that lead, then hit a really solid approach on 17, missed the putt, could have really put it away, but yeah, he like he always is, just flawless, tee to green or close to flawless. It's just that putter's just still not convincing me, but as I said, he hits it well enough that he can get it done without a good putter.
Yeah.
I heard from someone recently that they set up some of the tournaments to favour him, for him to win them. And I was sort of thinking about it, but even then, if that was the case, he hits it so, unbelievably good that there actually amounts pressure on him to have a course set up in his favour. You see shots like 16, he's literally hit it to a foot, and the pin's 5 feet from the front edge. Mm-hmm. He's over the water. He's stumped it. I don't know. When he comes back and plays only a handful of events, if you look up his stat sheet, I think he only finished outside the top 5 once on the DP World Tour this season. Yeah, it's ridiculous. If you look at that, that's just
it suits
outrageous.
You think about how many wins he could have had throughout his career, how many close calls he's had. Billy Horschel hold that putt on him at the BMW. at Wentworth, and then you've had obviously the Bryson DeChambeau, the US Open. There's been a lot of other ones that have been so close, like the Open with Cam Smith back in 2022. Like, if you take his seconds, I know like you said about a lot of people, but you take his seconds or thirds where he probably should have won, and you add that to his win category, like, it's outrageous. Like, it's seriously maybe not chasing Tiger down, but it's getting up to probably the second best record.
If you go on the official world golf rankings and have a look at McIlroy's year in 2024, he obviously kicks off with a win at the Dubai Desert Classic at the very start of the year. He's had a third at the Texas Open. He's had a win at the Wells Fargo. He's had a tied fourth at the Canadian Open. He's come second at the US Open. He's come fourth at the Scottish Open. He's come fifth at the Olympics. He's come second at the Irish Open. He's come second at the BMW, and then he's come third last week, and then he's won this week. So, unbelievable.
It's ridiculous.
Take Scheffler out of it. And obviously Xander had an incredible year with a couple of majors, but yeah, I love I think he's back. Like, I think he lost himself with all the live bullshit, but I think he sort of come back and realised that he's just got to be himself and not worry about all the external factors. And don't worry about legacy. It'll come, Rory, when you win. That's what it comes with, yes.
I think he's playing his most consistent golf almost ever at the moment. He seems to get better and better every year in terms of consistency. Like, as you just talked about, like, he's on the DP World Tour this season. He's finished outside the top 5 once for the entire season on the DP World Tour, which is outrageous. He obviously tied Seve for his 6th race to Dubai. Actually got fairly emotional with that, didn't he?
I did see that,
when he was talking about that being mentioned in the same vein. So it's awesome to see how much that means to him in the sense of European legends. Obviously, he's really cementing himself in there now. But yeah, you talk about consistency. Every time he rocks up to a DP World Tour event, you'd lock him in for a top 5, wouldn't you? And I'm sure Mika wouldn't mind me saying this, but he came back from, obviously not last week, the week before, over in Abu Dhabi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He came back and basically said, like, there was a few holes out there where he absolutely tonked one down there, and he looked at where Rory had hit it once he finished his round, and he had him by 50 or 60. And he goes, it's just outrageous. He goes, I couldn't have hit it much better.
He just hits it so straight as well. That's the thing.
He hits it at 100%. It just hits high, no spinning drives that just go an absolute mile. So, and if you actually watch that last hole that he made, obviously made birdie on the final hole yesterday.
Little bunt driver.
He hit a low cut into an area where blokes are absolutely bombing it to try and get there, and he's just hit a low little control cut down that side. It's just outrageous how good he hits it.
That was unreal. It was not only a great week for Rory, but a few guys have now secured their PGA Tour cards for next year, which is always the great part about the DP World Tour and that carrot being dangled. We saw Rasmus Højgaard, obviously his brother Nikolai, get the job done last year, so now he joins his brother on the PGA Tour. Tristan Lawrence from South Africa, Paul Waring obviously won last week, came from nowhere, 48 years old, not 408 years old, gets his opportunity, which is so cool, and it just shows how hard golf is and the journey that these guys can go on, which is just, he's 39 years old, sorry, not 48, he's 39 years old.
It's never over though, right? Like, he's 39, you'd almost say he's on the downside of where most people would be at their peak, and he's come back and now he's playing PGA Tour for maybe the first time. I don't know if he ever got out there, but
yeah.
Outrageous.
No, he's never been out there. He's played a couple of majors, but never played out on the PGA Tour. So
there you go.
That's going to be cool.
It's never too late.
Jasper Svensson, Nicholas Norgard, who Mika says is probably the best driver of the golf ball he's ever seen.
And the best looking bloke he's ever seen.
Oh, he obviously doesn't know Bradley McGill, does he? Matteo Montecero, Theobald Olsen, Antoine Rosner, Hoshino, who came second in the Aussie Open and Oz PGA last year's got his PGA Tour card, and Tom McKibben fell into 10th spot to secure his card. He's from Hollywood in Ireland, obviously where McIlroy's from. He was the only player outside the top 10 leading into this event to win his card this week, so he's played his way into the PGA Tour at the expense of Jordan Smith, who had a really good season on the DP World Tour. But there's always hard luck stories in golf, and it's really disappointing for Jordan. But yeah, it is what it is. That wraps the DP World Tour for this year. It's been awesome, obviously, having the connection with Mika and Baz and like Sam Jones and watching all those guys sort of make their way out there was super cool. But really excited for what next year has. No Aussie went really well at the Q School this year. Danny List, he's a pseudo-Aussie, got his card, which is incredible the way that he did that, which we'll have a chat about later in the pod. But yeah, that wraps up the DP World Tour, boys. And sad to see it go. It's always on a great time for us to watch, and looking forward to early Jan when they head back to Dubai to get it all kicked off again.
Yeah, obviously we do have 2 DP World Tour events in the Oz PGA and
do.
the Oz Open. So we get to see those firsthand here in Australia,
like to
which
say
would be
they're Aussie
exciting.
events, mate.
And then the Nedbank as well, which in South Africa, which is always a great event to watch.
Yeah. So there's still some great golf to be watched, and
Just never stops.
certainly tune into those.
Looking forward to it. Now, boys, to finish off this week in golf, Nelly Korda has made it number 7 for 2024, which is just amazing. Incredible season that she's put together. She was named the Rolex Player of the Year a couple of weeks ago, and rightly so. She's collected her 3rd win at the Annika, which is driven by Cambridge, at Pelican in Bel Air. She won by 3 shots over Jin Hee Im, Charlie Hull, and Wei Wei Zhang at Pelican Golf Club.
Wee. Is she French or?
It's just shocking, kid. That's so bad.
But anyway, what an incredible season by Nelly. She's had just an amazing season, and it's been a pleasure to watch it. Obviously, when she got so hot, like back in May, June, was just Brad's lost his pot. Would you?
When she got so hot.
Would you calm down? Yeah. She got so hot through May, June, and just absolutely dominated when she had those 4 in a row, 5 in a row.
Yeah, 5, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So
when do you think she gets to the point? Like, obviously, I think it's Annika Sorenstam that was obviously inevitably the GOAT. She shot a 59 and obviously a gazillion tour events, but she'd have to be on track to be giving her a scare at this point. She's flying.
She's going well. I feel like she has to put a few more years in of this sort of quality. I mean, I haven't got the stats right now in front of me, but it feels like Annika did it for a long, long time. Sort of similar to it's like sort of comparing Scotty to Tiger.
Yeah.
Like Scotty's had a great year, but he's got to do it for a long time to, be pushing towards, Tiger or Jack or something like that.
I'd love to see those stats because, 7 wins in a year is just, you wouldn't see many people do that ever. So, I can only imagine she's not going anywhere anytime soon. So, keen to see in 5 years' time how that looks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, Nelly's only 26. She's won 20 times, 15 of them on the LPGA Tour. And you look at what Annika Sorenstam did. She won 72 times on the LPGA Tour, 17 on the Ladies European Tour, 97 professional wins. But, yeah, so she's on track, I think, for a great career, Nelly Korda. But the women's game is at its all-time competitive, most competitive right now. Obviously, with Lydia Ko in incredible form, Charlie Hull in incredible form, the Aussie girls in incredible form, and all the Korean girls and Japanese girls just dominating. So it's so competitive. So what she's doing right now, I think back then Sorensen was like a standout above and beyond the rest. But what Nelly's doing right now in really, really strong fields is unbelievable. And technology's changing. There's heap more events now. There's all this other stuff going on. Social media, she's going to manage all that. She's going to manage everything. So I think she's doing a damn good job of staying on plane and getting it done. But, yeah, we're seeing one of the great careers before our eyes, which is awesome.
Certainly.
And that wraps this week in golf. What a great week it was. And we've got the Aussie Major to preview in a second. We're going to go to a little segment now, boys, where we have done a bit of work and we've had a look across Victoria. We've gone out to you guys out there in social media land and asked what are the top 3 value golf courses in this wonderful state of Victoria. We're going to bring in New South Wales and Queensland, WA and SA, and even the NT over the next couple of weeks. But today we're talking all about Victoria. We're going to start with our 3rd most valuable or best value golf course in the state. We're going to kick off with big Brad McGill with his 3rd best value golf course in Victoria.
So for me, I'm going to go with Yarram Golf Club. So it's $40 for unlimited play. So Yarram's down in Gippsland. It's a 5,717 metre par 72. Beautiful golf course, sort of carves out through the bush. It's got a couple of great holes, some really good dog legs. It's a volunteer-run golf course, but always in great condition. And I remember actually playing the Pro-Am there one day, and I've never ever got the first tee, and I got the first tee once. And the first hole's a 220 metre par 3. And then it follows up with a 430 metre par 4. So the one time I remember I got the first hole wasn't too well, but it's a really strong start and an unbelievable golf course, and it's 3rd on my list, Yarram Golf Club.
For me, I've got Barham Golf Club, which I don't think sits actually in Victoria. I think
on the border.
Just over the border.
And
but
just before you go, that was the most messaged in for both Victoria and New South Wales. We had about 30 or 40 people write in Barham. So,
really?
Yeah,
Barham? I don't know how to say it, but
it's Barham, mate.
Mate, we've played it a few times, Brad and I. A sensational
How
track.
many times have you won around there, Jack?
Yeah, how many times have you won the Ivo?
It's going to sound biased.
Like
but,
one's good.
It's going to sound biased. Just
I've had a couple,
facts.
but
he's won. I think he's won it. What, twice? Is it?
Twice, yeah. Outside of that, though, enough about me. Outside of that,
he's nervous.
outside of that, I think we both agreed that super underrated track. Like awesome greens, some really tricky holes in there. Also, you can stay. It's just the value
Yeah,
of playing there. You
good.
stay on the course.
Good golf trip.
Good little pub down there. It's a good spot. Lucas Herbert has played in that amateur tournament a couple of times.
Did he play when you won?
No, I don't think. I
Oh.
think I won that year. I don't
flex.
think I won that year. But yeah, I think it's a sensational golf course, and it's about $45 to play 18 holes, which is a steal. So yeah, that's number
Love
3
it.
for me.
I've got one for you, boys, and it's Axedale Golf Club, which is about an hour left of Bendigo, about inland from Bendigo.
Yeah, it's not an hour. It's like 20 minutes.
Oh, depends who's driving.
What do you ride a push bike?
Oh, probably, mate. Just let me speak, Brad. Axedale Golf Club, $30 flat rate, however many holes you want, and they've got one of those machines that you pay on. There's not even a pro shop. You go in, tap your card, off you go. Incredible little picturesque country golf course. Herbie goes back and plays the Pro-Am there every year, and he also plays at Nyanga Park, which is his home club up there in Bendigo. I've been out there with the father-in-law and had a great day. They've got one of those vending machines where you can buy your gloves, your balls, and all that sort of stuff as well. So
Never seen that.
the old honesty system. Pool buggies are $5. If you're under 16 years old and you're listening to this with mum and dad on the way to school, it's only going to cost you $10 to have a whack down there at Axedale. So if you're looking for something to do over the summer holidays, head out there. One of the great public country golf courses that I've ever played. It's couple of unbelievable downhill par threes, and bring your walking shoes. It's got a bit of up and downs.
Bit of a theme there. Herbie's getting around playing some awesome little local tracks. So
How hard is that?
How
Is
is
it the
that?
14th or the 15th hole? That dogleg left,
Yeah.
where blind tee shot. That is
Yeah.
such a hard hole.
It's a cracking golf course.
It's a great golf course. Actually, if you heading up Bendigo Way, Nyanga Park and Axedale are two great golf courses to get out and play.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 2, Brad.
Number 2, so I'm sticking with my Gippsland theme, and I'm going to go with Lang Lang Golf Club. So it's a 5,710 metre par 70, like beautiful golf course. It's actually right next to a sand quarry, so it's literally sand belt. The fairways are unbelievable, greens are really nice. It's very challenging. You got to be able to hit your ball straight, but yeah, you can play $30 for 18 holes on the weekday, and then $45 on the weekends, which is quite cheap. And it's not too far out of the big smoke. So yeah, definitely go and play Lang Lang Golf Club if you haven't been there before.
I've got Warrnambool, the home of Mark Leishman. It is one of the trickier golf courses on its day. Sensational little layout there. Some seriously tough holes. So they've got 18 cost you about $60 around there, which is pretty generous, I think. And you've obviously got Port Fairy pretty close to that as well, which is another little public track. Do you want to tell us a bit about that, Brad?
Oh no, I don't. I'm not going to talk about how I won around those joints. I think that's Jack and I have taken 2 trips to play Ivos, and we've spoken about both courses that we've won on. So it's a bit of me time for me and Jack tonight.
Blowing a bit of smoke there, but yeah, it's a sensational golf
Unbelievable course.
Warrnambool golf course. So if anyone's planning on heading out that way, I would suggest it.
That's incredible. I love those sort of courses. My favourite, where I learnt to play golf and where I first joined when I started getting into golf just before COVID, was a little 9-hole track as you drive into Geelong called the Geelong Golf Club.
Oh, I love Geelong.
Absolutely mint. The course is always in amazing conditions, unless it's been pissing down for like a week. It gets a little bit floody in there, but mate, the greens are always immaculate. You don't really need to take a driver around there, so it suits a guy who can't hit it very far like Brad. I know that you've played probably a pro.
I've played the Pro-Am there a couple of times, yeah.
Yeah, I've played a Pro-Am there too, which is incredible, but very cheap. It's $23 for 9 holes midweek, and then it's $39 for 18 holes, which you can do. They've got a weekly comp, so you can just enter the weekly comp, and it goes for the whole week. So it doesn't matter if you play on a Monday or Friday, you're still in the one comp, and then they have Saturday comp for the members. But a membership is where the value is. So there's a joining fee of about $150, and then it's $17 a week. So if you're a Geelong local and you just want to nick out for 9, you can get it done in about an hour 20.
Get your gym membership.
15.
Just join up down there.
Just join up down there and run. Just play some speed golf around there at Geelong. But yeah, great golf course, great crew down there with Paul and Storm and all the guys in the shop. So Geelong Golf Course for me is super value, and yeah, $17.50 a week. You
wouldn't even notice it come out.
Nah, it's a couple of coffees and a croissant. So yeah, join Geelong.
Like it. Now, my number 1 is, I've really stuck to Gippsland for this little segment, but Leongatha Golf Club. It's located in Leongatha South, down in South Gippsland. Unbelievable golf course. Got some beautiful holes, couple of great par 3s, little par 70, $55 for 18 holes. But yeah, some really challenging holes, some beautiful holes. It's in great condition all year round, and definitely worth the trip down to Leongatha.
Nice.
Beautiful. I'm coming back into Metro Melbourne a little bit for my number 1, and I've got Sandy Golf Links in there purely because it's maintained by the same folks that maintain Royal Melbourne right across the road. They've got some great little holes in there. It's quite short, but easy access, straight on. Courses most of the year round is in unbelievable nick. Actually, probably all year round in unbelievable nick. And yeah, very accessible from where most people would be living. So nice and close to home. And they've got I think they're about $60 for 18 holes. And from memory, a cart's cheap as chips there. I think it's like $10 or $15 for a cart, which is a no-brainer. So you can fly around there in no time, and it's a great little track.
The thing that I love about Sandy Golf Links is that those sort of fescue surrounds, the same as Royal Melbourne. Like, I haven't got the opportunity to play Royal Melbourne a whole heap, and I've played Sandy Golf Links a couple of times. For the public to be able to play surrounds and greens like that, you know, just at a public golf course, like, you're not going to get anything, I don't think, in the whole wide world like
Close.
that.
No.
It's unbelievable, like how firm it plays, and, you know, as I said, very managed by the same people as Royal Melbourne. But yeah, definitely, if you want to sort of experience that Royal Melbourne sort of type surrounds, and you don't have the opportunity or the contacts to get on Royal Melbourne, definitely go to Sandy Golf Links and have a hit there.
Hint to the listener is club down. It always bounce. The first
always
bounce
bounce,
around that
yep.
joint is unbelievably big. It just bounds across the greens there, but that's what you get at Royal Melbourne. So great value.
Unbelievable. I'm going a bit. I'm staying out that side of town with Bendigo, and I'm going not quite there, but just out of Dalesford, a place called Trentham Golf Course. Incredible joint, beautiful, picturesque. Just if you're going up for the weekend with the Dale, take her out in the cart. You'll have a great morning driving around while you're out there. $45 for 18 holes for an adult, $15 for a junior, which is just dead set value. You can hire carts out there as well. And similar to Axedale, they've got the little ticket machine where you just tap your card and off you go, the old honesty system. Trentham is a really cool little country town. You can go there for a weekend on a boys' trip, or, if you just want to get away out to it's only a couple of hours out of Melbourne. It's probably an hour 40, hour 45 maybe, from Melbourne to Trentham. But yeah, great place. I actually played there the morning of my wedding, which was unbelievable, and shot 1,000, but nice and wide open country course. And yeah, I love the country courses. They're so fun, and this is really well maintained. I think it's looked after by just the members and the farmers from down that way. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Get down and support these golf clubs as well if you get the opportunity to, and you can't lose.
I've got one little value add. It's not, I wouldn't call it a classy golf course, but certainly value for money. If you're looking for a good round of golf with your mates, Westgate Golf Club, $25 for 9. You have to see it with your two eyes. They've got some holes there that just make you question course architecture. They've got a dogleg par 3. You can't see the green. You got to hit about a 60-metre slice, and if you slice it a little bit too hard, there's a children's playground there, just right of the green. So there's a couple of holes there that you just have to see it to believe it. So if you are looking for a laugh with your mates and you want to have a bit of fun, that place it's good value. They've got a double green there, like a proper Kingston Heath Links double green. There's a hole, if you club up one too many, you hit it in the apartment complex. It's about 10 metres over the back of the green with no netting. But yeah, it's just...
I like it. I want to go play Westgate and Trentham. That's on my list.
Yeah, we'll do a day up to Trentham, and we'll go and play Westgate
like
one day.
A little Sunday drive.
Yep, like it.
Yeah, maybe Monday.
The crew.
But anyway, we'll get it done. It's a nice little teed up trip. Maybe we'll do a golf day in a regional town, and get out to a public track one day. I reckon that'd be super cool.
I like it. Love it.
Organise a bus up and get on this piss on the way back. Wilty! Let's get into that's a great little segment. We'll bring it next time we come on. We'll bring you the New South Wales best value golf courses that we have. So keep going out to you guys.
Bring 'em in.
Keep sending them in. Keep sending them in. If we've slighted anyone, or you disagree or agree, send us some love. We absolutely love it. Boys, the first Aussie major is here. The 2024 BMW Australian PGA Championship has finally arrived. You are not caddying this year, so you can give us a great overview of the course and what to expect to see. Last year we saw the chef. He was born there last year in Min Woo Lee on his first win. Second win, obviously, on Aussie soil, but I think that's where the chef really came to life, and he sort of got the crowds absolutely bouncing up there on the party hole, which is being supported by Dabble this year, who have supported us in our Movember raffle that we gave away 4 spots to the Dabble hole for the Saturday, Sunday, and then 4 spots to play the course on the Monday. So thank you to the crew who got around that raffle, which was awesome, raising money for Movember.
Epic prize. It's a
Great prize. I wish I'd entered myself. Be out there right now sunning my pasty white skin in that beautiful Queensland sun, but here I'm sitting with you blokes. Bradley, give us a bit of a course overview on what to expect up there at Royal Queensland. It's always one of the most unique golf courses to watch with the bridge and everything in the background.
Yeah, it is. It's a great golf course, and I'm definitely gonna miss, caddying in this event.
Did you get sacked?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Shay hasn't had the year that we would have liked, and he didn't qualify. And Chris is obviously a Queensland boy, so he's getting a local, and I'll just wait for him to come down here for next week. So that's the reason. But
Just joking, mate.
I'm saying he got sacked.
Just joking.
you all get fucked. So anyway, Royal Queensland, it's fairly generous off the tee. As long as you avoid the fairway bunkers and the wastelands, you're normally going to be okay. Like, I don't really think driving's overly important. There's certain holes where, you'll need to take less than driver and put yourself in the correct places, but there are some wide holes there that, you can get away with it. But the thing is, it's all about approach play. Like, I remember that some of these greens, they were either really tiny and raised, or they played really, really tiny with the way they were built and the way the grain was sort of rolling, and they played so small. It was like you had to land it on a $10 bill to sort of keep it on the green. So I think that approach play is going to be very, very important this week with your wedges and your short irons, making sure you hit the right part of the greens to keep it on the greens. And then also, if you're not doing that, your chipping around the green's got to be awesome, because as there's a lot of raised greens, some grainy lies. So, someone like a Cam Smith who, he's obviously grown up down in Queensland, has got an incredible short game. That's why he's got such a good record around here. But, your short game, I feel like driver is least important, and it gets more and more important the closer you get to the green. Obviously, you've got to hole putts anywhere to win, so that's important. But I'm really excited for the last few holes. Like, they've got some great finishing holes, like 14, which is one hole they've hardly touched. Is a really, really tight long par 4 where you've got to hit like a little fade sort of through like a little slit in the trees. And then you've got like a tricky approach to a green that sort of runs away from you. So like that's a par hole. But then you get onto 15, a par 5, 16, a short par 4, and then 17, which is like a gap wedge or so par 3, the party hole, which are all birdie holes. So throughout those 4 holes, like, you've got almost a par 4.5, and then, a couple of guys, like 3 holes in a row that play sort of half a shot, I'd say, under their par. You can really see some like differing scores through that stretch. So I'm hoping that it's a close finish, because the last few haven't been. And yeah, you can definitely see some fireworks towards the end of that back 9.
Yeah, we've got a massive field playing this week as well, with some overseas raiders coming over, which is we'll talk about in our tips and what we're seeing there. But a couple of notables as well is Winye Ding, who won the Asia Pacific Amateur. Obviously, Jasper beat him down the stretch at Royal Melbourne last year. He's definitely one to watch. He's only been a pro for a couple of weeks now. Chose to forego his ticket to the Masters next year.
What a decision to have to make. Far out.
First world problems, mate. But he's got himself a DP World Tour card, and he's kicking off his season and career now. So it'll be great to see how he goes. Obviously plays really well here in Australia. Mac Bouch is actually out to play the Pro-Am, so if you're up there, go and watch the King of Sling. Bombing around there. He's playing with Louis Dobler, so
great man.
That'll also be cool. And it's an incredible field, which we'll get into, but I'm really looking forward to this. And the Aussie majors, we only get 2 opportunities, obviously apart from Live Adelaide now, to see the best players who are available in the world to come out and play. And I think the DP guys are really seeing value in coming out and playing. We had a really good contingent last year, and we've got a really, really cool contingent coming out this year as well. So makes it tough for the Aussie guys this year as well. They're going to find it hard to win, and I've seen a couple of them go on and win big events as well since they've won here. So, yeah, who's going to win?
I'm going to go. Now, I'm going to cop it here, because I know that I always pick favourites, but I'm still following our sort of rule where, you can pick someone once a year, and it's my time to pick Cameron Smith to win. I just think, after that, incredible preview I just gave about the golf course, it just suits him down to the ground, I believe. Like, I feel like Cam's golf game gets better the closer he gets to the green. Like, his driving, his weakness, his iron game's pretty solid, his short game's unbelievable, his putting is next level. So that is like exactly what you need around this golf course. Like, keep the ball in play off the tee, it can be easier, and be a lead around the greens and be really good with your wedges, and that's exactly what Cam Smith does. Obviously the last 2 weeks he was chasing that win and hasn't quite got it, but I know Q and I spoke about it recently. Like, coming into last year, you can't. I don't really think you can count the last his form in the majors, the Aussie majors last year, because he was severely sort of underdone. He was coming off a pretty big sort of party sesh. I think he might have had his bucks almost leading into it.
And he had eye surgery like a couple of weeks after.
Yeah, exactly. So they had a lot going on, and it just didn't look like he was ready to go. Where this year he's ready and he's hungry. He's in tournament mode. He's looking fit and he's ready to fire. So I think the putter will warm back up and Cam will get his 4th Australian PGA.
2 second place finishes in a row as well.
Yeah.
The last 2 events, so he is due. Well, I'm also going to go one that's probably up there as one of the favourites, and that's obviously Minwoo Lee. It's just hard to look past him. He's had obviously won last year, but prior to that, he came tied 4th the 2 years prior. Obviously, as you said, putting's going to be important. He actually ranked number 6 in putting on the DP World Tour this year. Obviously, didn't play all the events, but very good putter, underrated putter, I think. Obviously, hits it a country mile, and that'll help him around this place. You can hit it a bit harder and not have to steer it around. So I think he'll unwind on a few and flick a few wedges on, make some putts, and I think he'll be right up there again. So I've got Minwoo Lee.
Nice. I'm going with a bloke who's going to have a chip on his shoulder. I wanted to go Herbie, but staying in line with our rules, I think Herbie's going to go really well. But I'm going with a bloke coming straight off the DP World Tour, where he's just missed out on his PGA Tour card for next year in Jordan Smith. He's probably one of the biggest names playing in the field, or had the best year playing in the field. He finished tied 19th at the DP World Tour Championship just on the weekend. I missed his card, like we just spoke about, by 1 shot, which is no good. But yeah, he's number 83 in the world now, and he's had like 9 top 10 finishes on the DP World Tour this year, which is a fair season. And to miss out by, I think it was 1 shot on your PGA Tour card, you'll be absolutely filthy with that. He's only 32, so he's obviously got a fair bit of golf ahead of him. But and I know he's played a bit of golf out here in the past, which is good for him. So going for Jordan Smith to sort of buck the trend of Aussie winners at the PGA, and I think he's going to get the job done this year, which will be great for the DP World Tour guys to see that they can come out and have a win on Aussie soil, and just the crowds and everything that happens. Like optically, this will be unbelievable if it's beamed around the world, sort of like Live Adelaide's been. I think Aussie crowds are like, especially up in Queensland, I think they're starving. I think they're feeling a bit slighted that Adelaide got Live. I think it would have been pretty cool up there. And there was talk there was going to be a second Live event placed in Queensland next year, but obviously that didn't happen. So it's their opportunity to get out there and run amok on the Dabble Hole on the 17th. And Tim Nackey, the great man, he's coming out as well, which is awesome. He'll be playing in the Pro. He's a very, very funny man. Jeez, he's good. So he'll be up there, and I think they're finally starting to see the Aussie Tour and the PGA are starting to see the value in these guys coming out. Like Tim Nackey's a very funny man. They're getting guys like Mac Boucher out. They've had, like the Asian Tour have had like Luke Kwan and those guys. So the worlds are starting to come together and bring these guys out, which is complementing bringing these DP World Tour players out with more money coming involved and bigger sponsors on board. They can actually sort of put prize purses up, which is going to make it worthwhile. These guys flying halfway around the world to play on our shores, which is cool.
I think as well, I believe last season there was a clash of events, so a lot of the DP World Tour guys didn't make it out here. I think they'll come out here this year, see how good, well, firstly the courses are out here, but the crowds are awesome. I'm sure they'll all start coming back a bit more often, and let's hope that that's going to continue to steamroll this Oz golf momentum that we're trying to build up here.
The resurgence.
The resurgence.
The resurgence, exactly.
Boys, who's the bolter for this week?
I'm going to go with Curtis Luck. He was 36 last week in New South Wales Open, but had a pretty disappointing final round. I think he had 4 over in the final round. He was 4th here last year at the Oz PGA, and he just has that wizardry around the greens that I think is going to be required. He's great with the putter and really good with the wedges, so Curtis Luck for me.
I've got Jordan Smith, as you just mentioned.
As a bolter.
I think, just as you said, he's just missed out on a PGA Tour card. I think he's going to be fired up, looking for a quick rebound from that obviously disappointment he's faced there. So I think he'll fly this week, and also just an absolute ball striking unit. If you get the chance to go out and watch him play golf, do so, because he hits it seriously good.
Yeah, I'm going with a fella who's he's an Australian, but he's relatively unknown to the Aussie golfing public, who's been over in the US and the UK for the majority of his life. But he does play under the Aussie flag, which is cool. And he's the newest Aussie to hold a DP World Tour card. And his name's Danny List. He shot an 8-under final round at the DP World Tour Q School just last week in Spain. secure his card for next year. Bit about him, so he's relatively unknown, but he was born in Ghana to an Australian father who's the CEO of BCM Ghana, and he's he played a lot of golf at Cottesloe Golf Club over there in Perth, so he's from that stable of amazing golfers from WA, which is amazing. He went to school in Berkshire, which is west of London, and he attended college in Washington before settling in San Diego. So he's been around the world, but I love that he's playing under the Aussie flag because he's obviously his old man's Aussie, which is unbelievable. He earned status on the Latin America Tour back in 2018, and he's played sporadically in Canada since then. He won the Californian Open in July of this year, and it sort of got him going, and he's playing his best golf. Obviously, Q School's really, really hard to get through. Grueling 6 rounds over there in Spain to get through. We know a couple of guys who played. He's established a foundation as well that he runs youth programs and encourages players' development and does community outreach work in Ghana. But yeah, he's really proud of his Aussie upbringing. So he plays under the Aussie flag and that form. So the reason I'm tipping him is not because he's an Aussie and not because of his story, but because to shoot an 8 under final round to secure your card over in Spain. First DP World Tour event. He'll be up and about. He's been home over in the US for a couple of days and then flown out here. So hopefully he feels really comfortable. Love to get him on the pod to chat about his story as well. I've got some work going in there as well, which is Q does his DMing, which is not great, but it works. And it'd be cool to see Danny List go well this week and relatively unknown to the Aussie public who can watch out for this week. So, yeah. Now, boys, we've got a whole surplus of overseas Raiders coming out for this week as well on the Aussie Tour, which is amazing for the game, what we've just spoken about, the sort of quality that they're going to bring to the field. And we're all just going to pick one guy who we should all put in our black book just to watch over the next 2 weeks who's flown out. There's guys from the PGA Tour, there's guys from the DP World Tour, there's guys from the Asian Tour all coming out to play the 2 Aussie majors. So, Bradley, who's one to watch from the overseas Raiders that we may not be aware of?
I'm going to go with Yannick Paul.
Yeah, good player.
He's a great approach player. He's come 10th in the last 2 seasons in greening regulation, which he's putting and his short game sort of around to average. So I think he'll be up there this week. And he had a little bit of a disappointing season this year, just finishing inside the top 50 in the race to Dubai. But a couple of years ago, he had a really good season and was really close to getting a Ryder Cup spot. So he's relatively unknown, I would say, to the Australian public, but very high level golfer, and wouldn't be surprised if he's right up the pointy end of the leaderboard this week.
Yeah, we're quick to forget that last year guys like Robert McIntyre and that sort of calibre, and Tom McKibben, who's now got his PGA Tour card, came out to play these Aussie majors. So, we could be seeing these guys doing what Bobby Mack did this time next year, which would be super cool.
Be sensational. You can't look past Victor Perez, I think. Obviously had the massive finish last year. I think it was in Abu Dhabi where he held that bunker shot.
Yeah, that was cool.
And that was epic finish. I think he's got the stones to get it done on a big stage, and I think he'll be one worth watching this week.
Yeah, boys, my one to watch this week is more of a sentimental and a guy I think he will endear himself to the Aussie public like he has over there in the US. Is Harry Higgs, the big fella. Always looks a little bit sloppy, plays really good golf, and he's coming out here. Mate, just because you always look sloppy too, there's not a slide on him. It's a good thing. And you endear yourself to the crowds, Brad. That's why people love you, for your sloppiness. Not for your good golf.
Righto.
He's
salty.
salty.
Like that, did he? He did not like that.
He's very mad. But anyway, Harry Higgs for me. He's a guy who I think is going to have a good couple of weeks out here and maybe entice a few of those guys like your Joel Damons and those sort of likes to come out, maybe get around the Aussie crowds because, Aussie golf fans love golf. Like, we're all in, we get there, we go and support it. You see crowds on the PGA Tour week to week. It's exactly the same as here. So
Harry Higgs seems like a man to get amongst the culture.
I think he'd enjoy a Carlton draft or 3, do you reckon?
Yeah, I reckon.
I don't think he'd be drinking Northerns out the back with Q. I think he'd be out the front with you, drinking Negronis and with Brownie and all that sort of stuff. So who knows what'll be happening there. But Harry Higgs, great contingent coming out. Go over to the PGA Tour of Australia's website, DP World Tour website, to have a look at the full list. We'll put the link in the show notes so it's easy for you guys to find. Boys, the Asian Tour is hotting up. We'll just quickly run over this. The Hong Kong Open, the Order of Merit, is really, really hotting up. So So the top 65 keep their card for next year. From an Aussie standpoint, it's a really important week for big Justin Warren. He's currently sitting 67th on the Asian Tour Order of Merit. So good luck to Justin this week. We saw Tomo go really well this last week. He was, the 36-hole leader.
Yeah, if you're not finishing 5th. So, yeah, big shout out to Tomo.
Yeah.
I believe he's actually in the 60s in the Order of Merit now. Is that right?
He should be. I think he was 64th. So
Yeah,
I think
so he's
just
right on the edge
inside,
as well. So, yeah, big shout out. He's over in Hong Kong now, obviously, for that final event. And, he's a great man, Tomo. And I'm actually very flat that I don't get to see him at the Oz Open because I love catching up with him. So
one of the great men.
Yeah, he is. He's a legend. So wishing him well in Hong Kong. Hopefully he can get the job done along with Wazza.
Yeah, big Wazza. But Matt Jones is actually playing over there this week rather than playing the PGA here in Australia. I don't think he got an invite.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I don't know.
Interesting
call, but yeah, he's over there. Wade Ormsby as well. Order of Merit. Last year we saw a cool down the stretch with Cam Smith and Ben Campbell and all that crew down there as well. So Ben Campbell, obviously the Kiwi, who was the emergency on Live Golf this year, played a few events. Ben Campbell's the defending champ. He's also playing that as well. The LPGA Tour, boys, the final event for 2024. It's a bit of a tough one for the girls coming back for the Aussie Open. I had a chat with Ash Buhai last week, which will go out the Monday before the Aussie Open. Obviously, she's going for the three-peat at the Aussie Open this year, which is unbelievable. But she spoke about how tough it is. She didn't actually qualify, so the top 60 golfers in the rankings will battle it out in Florida this week. Ash finished 64th, so she actually gets the week off, which she kind of wanted but didn't want. Obviously, she wanted to play the Tour Championship, but probably helps her to win the three-peat, getting out here a little bit earlier. Bit fresh. But for the Aussie girls, so Hannah Green, Gabby Ruffles, Grace Kim, Minjee Lee are all playing it this week. Steph Kiriakou is the second reserve, so unfortunately Steph didn't get a start this week. But, yeah, it's the final event. It's the CME Globe title. It's the season finale for the LPGA Tour. So good luck to all the girls pegging it up. Good luck to all the girls who are going to be red-eyeing it out of there on, the Monday night after the event to get back to Australia to play their practice rounds at Kingston Heath in Victoria and to put on a show for the Aussie crowd. So scheduling didn't quite work for the girls this year. I think the Aussie Open is only a week later, or maybe because of the Olympics this year. I think the event for the women maybe a week later. So I'm not sure how it worked that way. But good luck to those guys coming out. And the second last event for the PGA Tour is the RSM Classic in Sealand. So good luck to them this week. We're all happening, boys. It's all happening. I'm absolutely rattled. The Oz PGA was unbelievable. It's going to be an unbelievable week. Next week, it's all happening here in Melbourne. Pretty excited for that.
Yeah. Two elite tracks. Obviously, all the talent coming down to play in it. It's going to be an awesome event. I think I'll be there. I'm going to try and get there all 4 days. I don't know if work will be too stoked about hearing that, but we'll be
just giving out merchandise.
Trying to get
activations. Big dog. He's a big dog.
He's a big dog.
He's a big dog down there at Puma Golf. But Bradley, thanks for coming in and dressing up for us. It was unbelievable to see you again.
No worries at all, Kieran. It's always a pleasure to spend some time with you. What's that for?
Shake hands. Be friends.
You got my sweaty mitt, do you?
Oh!
How wet are they? It's just no good.
All right, cut this shit out. We're done.
There.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to another podcast from Produce's Clubby Sports Network. If you enjoyed the show, then it would be a massive help if you could like, follow, rate, subscribe, tap the bell, leave a review, or even share it with your friends. If you want to get in touch to share feedback, suggestions, or to advertise with one of our podcasts, then email hello@producy.com. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.